What happened? Daniel?
You mean last night, or do you mean the nights preceding last night?
Two nude guys in a cabin in the woods.
Yep.
Exactly what it sounds like. Alrighty.
Please input your new name.
Ashe, A-S-H-E.
And you see a rather large figure, but he's completely draped head to toe in some very thick padded black cloth. And you see that he's wearing what seems to almost be like a welding mask in front of his face with just a slight visor.
But what's the horseshoe for? I don't see any horses.
This town has an interesting, almost obsession, it seems like, with the moon. But I guess that figures since they said they were fishermen, and that would require knowledge of the currents and the tides of the moon.
Yeah, you got interesting point. Maybe they really hate werewolves.
All right, Ashe, where are you headed?
All right, Ashe. Oh, wait, that's me.
That's you. You don't even know your own name. You just paid $15 for it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sword Art Online Odd. This is Season 3, Episode 2. We're back at it again with our lovable Daniel and Mohit. So go ahead, introduce thyselves.
Hello, I am Daniel. I play Daniel because I am very original. Daniel, the character, is the resident cleric of the group. I heal people when I feel like it.
If they're deserving.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I also like building things, which I don't really get to do that often, unfortunately, but I am now kind of I'm repaying a blacksmith, so now I get to build lots of things. Woo.
And hi, I'm Mohit. I play Ashe. I'm the resident bard of the group, bard/monk. My goal in my role in the guild is to boost my allies and navigate the land with my high charisma.
And your incredible bartering skills.
Amazing bartering skills. You got that chain for effectively free, except selling your friend.
Yep.
You sold your friend for a 50-foot metal chain. I would have gotten away with it if you weren't for you meddling kids. And your darn blacksmith. All right. So wherein last we left off, give me a real quick recap.
We met the blacksmith. We talked with some townspeople. I'm now hired by the blacksmith. We also talked with the florist. Ashe is going to meet with the florist this morning.
We are reawakening in the small town of Lunca, as you have been informed, after having met the blacksmith and the florist the previous day. You also took a brief stop at the Full Moon Tavern and met a lovely lady named Idris. But since then, you have found yourself back at a mysterious cabin you found just slightly outside in the woods. And Daniel, after having used your chain and finally broken free from it this morning, you do recall that a debt is owed to the blacksmith because you don't have too much worldly possessions on you right now. You had to steal some clothes from an abandoned cabin, and you had to sell yourself as effectively an indentured servant for 2 weeks in order to pay off for some 50-foot of chain.
Hey, it's worth it if I don't have to eat something that we're not quite sure about, and it
could
has
just
some
be little cute woodland animals. Just imagine all the dead squirrels and rabbits it could be. You have a pile of them. Throw them around like rag dolls. It'd be great. Ashe waking up nude in the backyard.
Okay, Daniel.
Neither of you have clothes.
Daniel.
Before you transformed into a werewolf, you remember wearing clothes.
I'm gonna grab clothes from the closet.
Daniel, you find yourself in effectively the same area in which you were when you lost consciousness and are assuming you transformed into a werewolf. But all that is around you is shredded and torn, outgrown bits of fabric, which are kind of laying on the ground.
are there any more pieces of clothing left that are whole that Ashe got yesterday?
Yes, you check the dresser in the room and you see that there are about 4 more sets still remaining.
I'm gonna put one of those sets on.
Great. So it's just very standard, very bland, like tannish gray pants and a white shirt.
I'm going to go look for clothes as well. What do I find?
You find that there are now 3 sets of clothes remaining in this dresser.
Oh my lord. They all look the same?
Now, question. I can't remember. What did you do with your red jacket last episode?
No, I mean, I kept it.
It was on your person?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
No.
R.I.P. Red Jacket.
No.
Press F in the chat. Red Jacket dead. So there's still an entire closet of other various jackets, but none of them are that red jacket.
What colors are they?
You've got like a brown, like
Ew.
a tanned leather, a green one, like a dark forest green.
For a jacket?
A black jacket, like a black.
I'll take I'll take a black jacket.
You'll take the black
Yeah.
kind of like overthrow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I'll do that.
Not a problem. All right. And with that, it is about 8 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my god, Daniel, we got to get to our respective jobs.
Well, my job, your
Meeting. It's a meeting.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
All right, let's go.
So I'm going to jog run.
Jog run?
Rog.
Rog. Okay, you're rogging.
I'm
going
rogging to the blacksmith.
I'm gonna fashionably speed walk to the
Like
forest.
power walk it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like get
Like
in.
I'm coming back from Soul Cycle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good power strut. Get the like good elbow wave going. A little bit of the torso
On Soul
twist.
Cycle, sponsor us.
Do you know where you're going, Mohit?
I know where the florist is.
So you want to go back to the florists?
We have a backdoor meeting there, right?
60-40. I'm not
there's
telling
like
you the instructions.
No, I thought it was like go through a sewer or something.
Sewers.
Was it sewer or was it?
Amazing. So you guys are walking down through the forest, which leads from the log cabin down into the main part of the town. And you guys are like about to split off, and Ashe can see the forest on his left-hand side. And do you say anything?
Hey, Daniel, where am I going?
I'm just going to blink a few times. So you're gonna go to the forest, the one outside the town.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna look for a small clearing. And then there should be a rock. And under that rock, there's gonna be a trap door.
Under that rock with the trap door. Okay, gotcha.
Just don't die, please. I prefer not to be alone.
I'm gonna go off to that rock. Thanks, Daniel.
All right, so do you two split off?
I'm just gonna keep going to the blacksmith.
All right, great. So Daniel's following the main town roads. Meanwhile, Ashe, you break off and start heading to your left while you are right out back behind the florist shop.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of early in the morning and you don't see anyone around.
So I'm going to go find that rock.
Did you just start like walking around?
No, I go through the florist shop.
So you go to the florist shop?
Yeah, I thought it was. Oh no, I go around the florist shop, right?
You're already out back behind the florist shop.
Okay. I look around. Can I roll a perception check to see if I find the rock?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're looking for a rock.
Nat crit. What do you want from me? 50. What do you want? Do I find the rock?
All right. So around this shop, you see many rocks. With your eagle vision, you see numerous amounts of rocks, many stones and pebbles also used to outline various like fences and gating ways and like the perimeters of houses. But with your perception, you also see behind that there seems to be a faint clearing, very thin trail leading out further deeper into the forest.
Okay, I'm going to go take that deeper trail.
Okay.
Also fashionably speed walking in case anyone's watching.
Fashionably speed walking.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me.
I gotta put on my impression.
Don't worry. People are watching you fashionably speed walking.
Good,
it's great.
good.
But you don't see anyone.
Trying to make a good impression.
It is early in the morning. The sun has just barely risen. It's basically at the crack of dawn, and you're power walking through the woods, kind of getting smacked by a couple of some thicket and some branches.
I ignore it. Fixing my hair as I go through.
Amazing. Making sure you look fashionable upon arrival.
It's a meeting.
It's true. Very business. Business casual. Going through this very thinly cleared trail, eventually you get to almost what seems to be a dead end, where you're just surrounded by trees. It seems very, very dense directly in front of you.
Can I roll another perception check to see if I'm looking for a big rock?
Sure. You are looking for a big rock in the middle of the trees. Let's see.
27.
So you do manage to part the branches in front of you slightly as you're peering around, because you find it odd. There's nothing but a bunch of pine trees and needles laying on the ground around you. And you're kind of stuck in the middle of this thicket, and you push through and you see a small clearing on the other end of this thicker patch of trees. And in it, there is a very, very large rock.
Big rock.
Big rock.
I'm going to use my 0 strength modifier to push that rock.
Amazing.
Okay.
Great plan.
How do I do this?
All right, so you walk up to this rock, and let me tell you, this rock is almost as tall as you are.
Oh my God.
The big rock.
Okay.
It's like, I don't even know how to express to you the girth of this rock.
It is a thick stone.
You seem really excited to describe this rock.
It's a big rock.
Okay.
Like, this is like Mufasa would take Simba up on this rock, and it would be like
everything you see.
And you wouldn't be able to see anything past all the trees, but everything the light touches, you understand. Yeah, exactly.
All of these 10 trees.
Right. It's like, this is like a 6 foot tall rock, but it's a very nice rock. Yeah. Very, very
bold of you to assume that I'm less than 6 feet tall.
Aren't you less than
I am. I'm 5'9".
Yeah. So the rock's a little larger than you are. So you go up and roll strength on this rock.
17. Do I add 0? Can I add 0 to that?
Yeah, you can add 0 to that.
Yes.
So what's your total?
17.
Amazing. So you come up to this rock, and as you came directly from the path, you are pushing head first straight into the rock, kind of like ramming your shoulder into it, like heaving, digging your feet into the ground. You're not able to get any traction.
Yeah.
And the rock doesn't budge.
It doesn't?
Not the slightest. Not even an inch.
Okay. Wait.
It doesn't even feel like the rock wants to move. The rock firmly does not believe in moving. It is anti-moving. It's got squatter's rights. You have no idea how long this rock has been here, man. This rock has a story. Did you even ask its name before you started pushing it?
Okay. Good point. Can I perception check the rock to see if it's sentient?
Yeah, you can perception check the sentient rock. That's fine.
Oh God, 13.
All right, it grows up out of the ground. No, it seems to be a very average rock. But as you're poking around the sides and you're looking around this rock, you do notice that directly beside the rock to the right of it is an patch of disturbed grass where it seems like the dirt is kind of messed up there.
All right.
And it's about the same size as the rock.
Seemingly the size of a trapdoor, if you will.
Ooh.
Am I supposed to perception check, or can I just open it?
Open what?
Can I just try to mess around the disturbed grass to see if they're... Okay, I'll
go
do
for
that.
it. What do you do? You start, like, putting your hand... Like, trying to stick your hand in the...
Okay. All right. I'm going to perception check again.
Yeah.
12.
Okay. All right. So I want you to understand.
Thank the Lord heavens I didn't roll a 1.
Okay. So you're in a clearing, right?
Uh-huh.
There's a rock.
Big rock.
Mm-hmm. Here's you in front of Big Rock.
Yes.
You tried pushing this way. Nothing happened. You tried pushing straight forward towards it. There's a patch of disturbed dirt and some dead grass directly beside the rock.
It's a pressure plate.
That is almost identically sized to said rock.
It's a pressure plate. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to go to the left of the rock.
The left?
Okay, yeah,
this
the
way?
left of the rock.
So your left, facing directly towards the rock. You walk around the side of it.
The opposite side of that supposed pressure.
Right.
Okay. And then I'm going to push as hard as I can.
Roll strength.
Oh my God. 8. 8 plus 0.
8 plus 0. Ashe, you are a majestic creature here. Real quick, roll a perception check.
Can I roll a charisma check?
Yes, you will
Roll a perception
diplomacy
check.
this
16.
This rock to get out of the
16 is my perception check.
As you begin to lean on the rock from this direction, you actually hear the faint rusted metal kind of grinding on top one of other, as if some wheels begin to turn. And as you push the rock, it slowly begins, and you're kind of struggling as it feels like some rust is almost breaking off, or the friction due to the mass of the rock is difficult. But as you push it, you slowly begin to see that there are metal tracks underneath of the rock, and it seems as if there are wheels under it as well to push it to the side.
Oh yeah, I keep pushing it towards that pressure plate.
All right, so you push it away a little bit further, and then you see actually underneath the center of the rock there is a trap door.
Yay! Is the rock on the pressure plate yet? How do I open the trap door? I'm gonna move the rock to the pressure plate.
Okay, you move the rock all the way to the side.
Does anything happen?
There's a trap door.
Okay, I'm gonna roll a
rock.
perception check
Sure.
to try to open that trap door.
Great. Yeah, amazing. Go for it.
14.
There's a handle.
I'm gonna pull the handle
on the trap door.
I'm gonna pull the handle.
Great.
And
There's no pressure plate. It's just a rock on wheels with a trap door underneath.
I'm gonna open that trap door.
Okay.
Do I see a set of staircases?
It's a ladder.
Ladders, the bane of my existence. I'm legit scared of ladders. I'm not even like in real life, I hate ladders.
This is like a manhole, is what it looks like.
That's scarier.
It is like barely large enough to fit just your person and like a few inches on either side, and there are metal rungs leading directly down.
I am going to reluctantly go, travel down it.
You don't have shoes. I'm just making a note.
All right.
Of this.
Does tetanus exist in this game?
So you start climbing down the ladders. I need you to roll a fortitude save for me.
9. Okay. It hit a corner. Can I roll again?
Sure.
9.
Nice. That is
again.
The dice doesn't care about your corner.
That is a 1 in 400 shot of that.
It's impressive.
Happening. Yeah.
I'm proud of your dice. They wanted you to have that 9. You go and you take one step on the ladder, and it feels as if it is burning away at your flesh. Like you put your foot on the rung of the ladder and you can't go down.
Okay. There is a shot here. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back out, and then I'm gonna take my shirt off, sexily. Okay?
Sexily.
Yes.
Just in case anyone is watching.
Just in case anyone's watching. Trying to impress people here.
You're struggling. You don't have any blade.
Okay, fine. Here's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put the cloth underneath my feet. Okay, I'll put the shirt underneath my feet, and then I'm gonna go down the ladder that way.
Okay.
So that way I'm not actually touching the.
So you put your feet on the ladder, and the cloth seems to be helping you resist any pain from it. Okay, so you get to the third or fourth rung with your feet being covered, and then you put your hand on the rung with your bare skin, and it begins searing pain once again. Roll a fortitude save. Let's see if you can bear it.
21.
Yeah, you're man-moding through this. Your hands slightly more calloused than your feet.
That's right.
You're a man who has worn shoes his entire life, but he's not been scared to work with his hands. Playing many a days on his lute and bagpipes, very hard at work. So you are managing to muster your way through. Now, big question. Do you just go straight down?
Is there only one direction?
Only one direction.
Yeah, okay, I go straight down.
Do you do anything else as you're going down?
No.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
No, okay, wait, hang on. I'm gonna cast dancing lights downwards.
Okay, downwards. You point straight down, dancing lights. It does illuminate this very dark manhole.
What do I see? Do I roll a perception check?
Yeah, go ahead.
28.
It seems as if this entire, all the walls and the siding are made out of dirt. So it seems like this was just kind of dug out. But you do see some wooden support beams down towards the bottom of it, as if it is holding up some type of man-made structure down below.
Okay, so I keep going down, and I'm going to enter the man-made structure.
You're noticing that you're climbing, and you're going down about a solid 20 feet underground until you finally make your way down to a small little opening. But the area down here is only about 5 feet tall, so you kind of have to hunch down and over, and there is a tunnel which seems to span out, and there is a door at the end of the tunnel.
I'm going to cast Dancing Lights. Wait, but it is illuminated.
Yes.
Okay,
down here is
yeah,
already
I'm
illuminated. You're
going
able
to
to see
approach the
pretty
door.
Okay.
And I'm going to open it.
The door is about
it.
the door is about 5 feet away from the base of the ladder, and you go up and you notice something. It seems as if the door is made of metal as well, just like the rungs were.
Is it? I'm gonna touch it.
You go to touch it?
I'm slowly but with just my pinky finger. Just my pinky finger. Okay?
Yeah, it's like touching a hot stove or putting your hand over a fire, but getting slightly too close. You feel like it seems to burn and singe your fingertip.
Yo, I know what this is. Hang on. Do I still have that a little pendant?
You had a ring on your finger, and when you turned into a werewolf, the band snapped.
Okay. So this thing's gonna continue to burn. Can I is the door made of metal?
The door is made of metal.
Or is it just the handle?
The door. The entire door.
Okay. I'm gonna start screaming. Hello.
Roll a perception check for me real quick.
15.
You hear it sounds as if a series of doors open and close. It sounds like a couple of them in front of you, but it also sounds like a couple behind you as well.
I'm going to turn around. Do I see any doors behind me?
You don't see any doors behind you, just the ladder.
Just the ladder, you say. Okay, so I'm going to stay put.
And you hear something that sounds like a large object moving, rubbing against something.
Do I see anything?
You don't see anything.
Okay, I'm just going to stay put and continue listening.
You see that there is a small slit up towards the top of the door, and you see as a section of it moves. Who's there?
Oh, it's me. It's me. What's up?
Oh, all right. Well then, come on. Come in quickly.
Okay.
And the door opens.
And then I'm going to rush in.
All right, you rush in.
And be like, no, I'm going to fix my hair, and then I'll go
fix
in.
your hair, maybe tidy yourself up, currently being shirtless. Part your hair properly.
Yeah.
Walk in with your shirt on your feet.
Uh-huh. One continuous cloth, not even like sectioned off into 2 different shoes.
Right.
It's just...
What a state you arrive in. And you enter, and it seems to be a relatively small bunker of sorts, which is just a 10-foot in diameter room.
10 foot in diameter?
10 foot in diameter. Very small. Seems like there's a few wooden bookshelves here and there, a table, some chairs, and it looks like some crates, another door on the opposing wall slightly to your left. But again, the entire walls seem as if they're coated and lined, at least in portion and strips, in this metal. Roll a will save real quick.
Yeah, that crit. Let's go.
You walk in the room and you're perfectly fine, unfazed as you kind of go in. It's a little cramped, but with just the two of you, you and Petre, you seem to be fine. And he closes the door behind you.
Okay, so why do we have to get to such a secret place?
The questions you are asking are rather difficult to answer.
Okay.
Especially with prying ears and eyes. But they should not hear us here.
Okay. So what's up? What's the scoop?
You mentioned your friend.
Uh-huh. The werewolf, yeah.
And he pauses for a moment, and he then flips a coin at you.
Okay, fine. I'm definitely going to catch it. Okay.
So you catch the coin, but as you do, roll a fortitude save.
20.
All right. You manage to catch it, and without dropping it, hold it in your palm. But as you do, you kind of wince as you feel a searing pain in your palm where the coin is.
I'm just going to put it in my pocket.
And you go to, and you just put it in your pocket?
I'm like, petty save the pettier.
Very well. But with that, if we could be candid, the werewolf is not your friend. Or at least...
I don't know. I'm a pretty self-loathing person, so yeah, you're probably right.
Well, if it was, it may be that another werewolf could be the compatriot who is with you, but you are as well cursed with lycanthropy, are you not?
Yeah. What's it to you? How'd you know? What gave it away? Was it the searing pain of your metal coin?
You could not make it off the rungs of the ladders nor open the door, and you also seem to be surprisingly, though, unfazed by this room. And he kind of gestures around to all of the metal strips and bands kind of lining the walls.
Okay, I'll be frank with you. All right, what makes you think that I'm because like I don't think I'm a werewolf. I feel like I would. I feel like I would know if I was a werewolf.
Sure, by all means.
I'm gonna roll a diplomacy on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nat crit. What you gonna do about it?
I may be too quick to judge. So,
Yeah, you
let
are,
us sit
Petra.
down. I will make you tea. And he offers you a seat at the table.
Okay, is the table metal?
No, the table's wood.
Okay,
With a nice
cool,
wooden
cool.
cushion chair.
I'm gonna sit down. What a nice wooden table, and a nice wooden chair
With a cushion.
with a cushion nonetheless. No metal objects in there.
No metal objects on there.
Just feathers.
Just feathers.
Speaking of which, how's the population doing at this place?
Whatever do you mean?
You had 56 people in here, right?
What? I'm pretty sure we have like 56, 57 around there. Some come and go.
Okay.
57.
Okay.
Yes.
Any recent werewolf problems for my friend? Wink, wink.
More of an infestation.
Wait, what? Tell me more.
Why do you think I bring you out into the middle of the woods, away from town, in a room in a bunker hidden underground, with a room made entirely of silver?
Because it's safe from werewolves.
Do you think you are the first one to arrive?
I mean, I mean, people tend to like tell me secrets before they tell other people because I'm a generally speaking pretty approachable guy. So kinda, yeah, if I'm being completely honest with you, I could be okay now that you're looking at me like that. All right. Okay. I'm not calling your bluff. Okay. Alrighty.
And he sets down a ceramic cup of tea for you, and he sits down with it as well.
Nice. Ceramic. I like ceramic. Ceramic's good. Nice feel of the hand. You should use that more often instead of, anything like tin or like actually tin's fine. Just not like silver cups. You know what I mean?
That's why
Gold's great.
why they're not silver cups.
Because you could just smelt that down and use that as coin.
Good.
That's yeah, exactly.
But what good would it be to me then?
To be fair, okay, good point. Alrighty, okay. What now? What? Oh, what? Are there more
What
people?
is it that you are looking to accomplish here?
I'm trying to figure out. Do you know how to get rid of a werewolf curse?
That would make things a lot easier then, wouldn't it? Please, drink up. And he kind of toasts.
No, because I'm gonna
And
sense
takes a
motive.
sip of his
I'm gonna
tea.
sense motive.
Sure, sense motive.
Wait, hold up. That hit a corner. That hit a corner, but it would have been a 19.
Okay.
That's a 23.
The man's giving you a nice beverage. As you were concerned so much about the silver metal, this is just a plain ceramic cup, and it just seems like a glass of tea. He's currently drinking some himself.
I'm gonna take a sip.
Go for it.
Great tea. What kind is this?
Wolfsbane.
Huh?
I'm a herbologist, am I not? Florist, I grow flowers, plants, herbs, various things.
Okay. What is it? What does Wolfsbane do?
Nothing to the average human.
Yeah, what does it do to werewolves? For my friend.
Why does it intrigue you so much?
I'm not a werewolf. I'm talking about my friend.
I have a theory. Werewolves are creatures of incredible power, but for some reason they seem to have a particular disdain for that of silver. And as well, Wolfsbane seems to weaken their animalistic properties and bring them to a more humane state.
Okay, and go on.
What more do you want me to know? I am a simple florist.
What do you mean? There are more werewolves here? Do you want me to bring my
Do
friend
you
in
think
here?
I sought out an oracle and in the future 10 years ago built this bunker because I foresaw your friend, a werewolf, potentially coming here?
Yeah, I mean, like, crazier things have happened. We are stuck in this game.
One, it is a game. He is an NPC.
Oh, that's right. You're an NPC. That's right. I'm sorry, bud. Okay, you don't know that. But yeah, the world's a simulation.
If life is a game, then, sir, I believe we are all very sorely losing.
Okay. Hey, let's get to the point. What do you kill these things?
They do seem to, as I previously stated, have a disdain for silver. It's the only thing I've found that can harm them.
No. Yeah, I mean, like, why give any of them? Well, like, what do? You track them down here and then do what?
I do not track them. I am more captive than they are.
Can I roll a perception check to see if I like look around for like other bodies and stuff?
Sure.
Come on, man. One.
One?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, small room, 2 bodies. You, him.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel
You do see, again, it is a small room containing very little except some basic food supplies, some bookshelves that are mildly stocked,
Okay.
small table, and a door to your left, not the one you came in from. The one you came in from is
So-
directly behind you.
Hypothetically, Petre, would you kill a werewolf if I were to bring my friend in here? Or would you remove the curse?
Like I said, if I could exorcise the curse from werewolves, I would have done so long ago.
I'm asking you a question. If I were to bring my werewolf friend, would you murder that
I would
first?
attempt to see what I could do to remove the curse.
Okay, but you don't kill him, do you?
That would have very negative ramifications.
Okay, buddy. I got a secret for you. You promise not to tell anyone? You promise?
Sure.
The werewolf's not actually my friend.
Egad, who could have guessed?
It's actually Daniel.
Was that not the compatriot you were traveling with in my shop previously?
Oh, that guy? Nah, I was about to sell him to slavery. Nah, fam. We're part of the same guild. Doesn't mean we're friends. We're more like coworkers, but yeah. Don't tell him I said that, though.
You should be very happy that the character didn't hear that.
As you were talking to him and you were giving him this information, if you wouldn't mind, and he looks down at his watch, which is on his left wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I do have places to be, but your arrival does intrigue me. Your openness intrigues me more. Maybe they have not gotten to you yet. And he tosses you a bag. Give this to your friend, or your Daniel, whatever you call him.
He's my Daniel.
And he gets up and opens the door for you.
Uh-huh.
That is the entrance you came from. I must depart, but please, after you.
Okay. All right, Petre.
And you do hear a large again.
Do I have to climb up that ladder?
There is only one way in and one way out.
Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm
Cool.
just gonna climb up the ladder.
You go and
Hey, quick question. Actually, before I leave, you wouldn't happen to have any shoes around here, would you?
he looks around here for your troubles, and he tosses a pair of old leather boots.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, say, you wouldn't happen to have a pair of gloves now, would you?
I am a gardener. What do you take me for? And he pulls
my
some out of his
man.
back pants
Okay.
pocket.
I'm gonna wear those, and then I'm
And
gonna
as he hands them to you, he looks you dead in the eye. Please meet me here again sometime soon.
sometime soon. Yes. I'll bring yeah.
And he kind of like stares at you for an uncomfortably long amount of time in silence.
Well, look at that. I best be going now. I look down at my watch that doesn't exist.
He has put the gloves in your hand, but he is still also holding on to them.
I'll be sure to come back here. This is not the last you've seen of me.
And he lets go of them.
And I'm gonna run out, like sprint as fast as I possibly could while putting on the. That's actually not true. I'm gonna power walk. I'm gonna power walk.
Appearances,
out of
they
here.
matter.
I'm gonna power walk out of there while putting on my newfound gloves and boots, and then I'm gonna slowly go up the ladder, look back to see if he's watching.
The door behind you, as you look back at the end of the hall, is shut.
And then I'm gonna scurry up and then just sprint back as fast as I possibly can.
All right, Daniel,
Yes.
you finally traversed the various streets and alleyways of this relatively small town. It seems like you've been able to navigate yourself perfectly fine all the way down back to the blacksmith, who's just on the opposing side of the village in which you enter. As the cabin in the forest is located more towards the north, you have had to make yourself through almost the entire town and found yourself down by the south, kind of closer towards the coast, where the blacksmith is.
I'm just gonna go around the back to where the blacksmith works.
you
just
hear-
like last time.
A hammering of hammer on metal, as it sounds.
I'm just gonna go up to it and say, "Hey, what do you need me to help you with?"
Once again, you see the same figure, clothed from head to toe in protective gear. You cannot see an inch of skin, and it seems as if he is very concentrated on his work, and he is completely oblivious to the existence of everything else through the hammering of a sheet of metal, which he is currently working on.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to see if there's like anything I could maybe organize for him, make it more cleanly, something like that. Or actually, it would be smarter for me to look for like small projects for him to do, because he told us last time that his big hands can't do small things very well.
All right, go ahead, roll a perception check.
27.
You don't particularly see anything out here. You see mostly large scraps of metal laying about, a couple of tools. It seems like there isn't too much to be done out here from the looks of it, but there is a door leading inside.
I'm going to go inside then.
Right. So you enter through the back entrance door, and it seems as if there is a small... This is obviously an entrance through the back of the shop where he generally works, and you are behind a counter, and you see a number of small tables with tools and little tiny projects laying around. Roll another perception check for me.
30.
You notice that there are some very standard equipment around. You surprisingly don't see, for a blacksmith, especially in... an MMORPG, you don't see a single weapon or piece of armor. Everything that is in here is basically farming equipment. You see shovels and hoes and trowels and pitchforks all being mended, restored. You also see a number of horseshoes being repaired. And other than that, under a table in a back corner to your left-hand side, you see a small crate with a purple cloth laying over it.
Well, I'm going to completely ignore the crate with the purple cloth over it.
Okay.
No, I'm going to go look at the crate with the purple cloth over it and peer into it and see what's inside.
Removing the crate slightly from underneath the table and lifting the cloth ever so gently, some dust kind of flies off, but you can see inside seems to be a broken clock.
Ah, so this is the stuff he was talking about. Well, I guess I'm going to pull it out and put it on a relatively, or whichever bench is relatively clean or open or whatever, and see what I can do to start fixing this clock.
Sure. So you heave this large crate up and lay it down on the table that it was underneath. You kind of have to push away some scraps and some tools here and there, and you make a little bit of workspace around. And go ahead, roll a knowledge engineering for me.
29.
As you are looking at this clock, it seems to be a very complex and intricate gear clock made with hundreds of small interconnecting gears, all powered by a very similar mechanism and a very condensed gearbox. But it seems as if a number of the pieces are either damaged or in other cases completely missing.
Man, this is just this is like a German automobile from the 1990s. Needlessly complex.
Needlessly complex with missing and damaged parts.
So I guess I'm gonna go through and start kind of trying to organize all the parts and figure out, like, just logic my way through it and see, like, okay, this part should go here, and figure out which parts I would need to make or find or repair.
Right. So go ahead and roll a craft, and we'll say that this is what you are going to be working on for a little bit of time.
That would be a 38.
You are able to find kind of tweezers, needle nose pliers here and there, finer tuned instruments, and a magnifying glass as well, and you are able to get in and intricately kind of poke around and see what makes this clock tick, quite literally. And you notice that there are a number of very fine and small pieces missing, even after having dug out towards the bottom of the crate and picked up some dislodged gears. You notice that this clock is working with literally hundreds of pieces. Half of the ones that are at least remaining are damaged, and the ones that are not damaged, there are also about 2 to 3 dozen missing gears, it seems, of all varying shapes and sizes. And it's making it a little hard to discern the size of the needed missing gears due to the sheer number of them.
Time for prototyping. So I am going to go look for some wood.
So, as you're staring and intricately poking around this clock, you do hear large, heavy footsteps come in through the door behind you. Oh, well, I see you haven't wasted any time.
Yeah, I saw you were busy, so I figured I should Well, try and at least make myself somewhat useful. I do have to pay you back for that chain, after all.
Well, the project you have before you, that's a daunting one.
Yeah, this is like easily the most needlessly complex clock I've ever seen, but
Vasquez was working on it with me previously. It's been in my possession for quite some time. Now I've never been able to figure it out.
yeah, this is well, to say it's a piece of work would be like grossly understating it.
It's not work at this point. It's an impossible task. I've had it for a decade. I can work on a horseshoe. I can mend a tool. There's nothing that I can do for that clock. Vasquez was even struggling himself. But he brought it to me in hopes that I would be able to aid him.
Well, if you want me to, I can give a crack and see if I can make it work, or...
Well, as long as you don't literally crack it, but then again, what more damage could be done to that thing?
Or is there something else you'd rather have me do?
If you could get that thing working, it would be a miracle.
All right, well, I guess I know what I'm doing today, and probably for the next couple of days.
So, to better describe this clock, it is perfectly circular on the front plate. It seems with a gold trim and a glass front. It's very large. It's actually about the size, like of a hand. I don't know. It's probably like almost a foot in diameter. Really large one. And the way you take off the back is it has a dislodging kind of like latch of a gold plate, which reveals the entire back of it to be open.
Well, like I said before, I'm going to go look for some wood. The reason I'm going to do that is because to spare the audience a long and boring explanation, there's a guy, I think if I recall correctly, it's the same guy who started the first almanac, made a watch out of wood parts, so I'm going to go copy his ideas.
The blacksmith, Paval, instructs you to just go around the back of his shop, and if you need anything, just let him know. So with this gentleman, you spend a decent portion of your day. Now, I'm going to say, for the sake of time, for everything, because you have about 2 weeks to get through before we're kind of caught up with the current state of everything. We're going to go through and skip in segments of various days. And the way this is going to go by is each of you are going to roll a number of checks. Daniel is very specifically working on the clock, but for you, Mohit, is there anything specifically you wanted to know? Because what I was going to do is basically every couple of days, you'll check in with Petre, and I'll let you ask a question. And I'll also allow you to roll a knowledge local if you wanted to know or learn anything specific about the town as well.
Can I do that right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
what we're going to do is we're going to basically do this in batches of a series of days to see how effectively time passes.
I want to roll a knowledge local.
Okay, so is there a question you had about the town? Is there anything specific you wanted to know?
Yeah, the history of lycanthropy in the town.
Sure. And are you talking to Pavel Petre about this?
Yeah, because that's kind of why I went down there.
Go ahead, roll knowledge local. And would you have been going anywhere else throughout the town, or would you only have been going to the log cabin and back and forth between the log cabin and Petre's bunker?
I would probably stop by the blacksmith every once in a while. I would also be going to the mayor's place and getting myself acquainted with as many people as I can. If there's 56 people, it's most likely in 2 weeks I would have met all 56.
Absolutely.
And sorry, what is it rolling? Knowledge local?
So you're going to go ahead and roll a knowledge local for me. And I'm just going to give you
That's 14 plus 23, 37.
With that high of a knowledge local, there's no way that you've only been going back and forth between your cabin and Petre's bunker, because that isn't much local knowledge. So you have been kind of cruising about the town with a large portion of your free time. Walking around, you notice that it is very lively, kind of by the docks and the Full Moon Tavern and around the mayor's house, generally towards the evening and the latter portion of the day when all of the shepherds get done work. Once again, you notice basically every day these sheep are driven in absolutely massive flocks. There is literally, for a small town of 57 people, there is thousands of sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Sparta, but with sheep instead of slaves.
Exactly. Much more sheep. You have been able to find that the primary export of this town and the sheep are basically how the entire townspeople make their livelihood. Everything is based around them. All of the farms are not for producing food for themselves, but for feeding the sheep. That is why they make so many grains, such as rye and wheat. But they get everything from the sheep. They make some of the wheat, obviously, into bread, and there's a storehouse and a mill for that. But the sheep provide them wool for textiles, such as clothing and all of their various necessities there. And then they also get meat products out of the sheep, as well as being able to use their skin for hide for other things that they need. So very, very resourceful people here in Lunca.
I'm just thinking back of all the time Snow would just love to be eating all of the bread.
All the bread. Unfortunately for Snow, the sheep are eating most of the bread here. Well, at least the wheat. Not cooked.
She's going to fight them for it. I bet you she's going to fight them for it.
You learned over time that the mayor of this place, his name is Lupa Vasile. And as you have been talking, you've actually been spending a lot of time in the Full Moon Tavern, and you've gotten to know some of the bar maidens, Idris and Fami, a little better.
And who?
Fami.
Famine?
Fami.
Fami.
Fami. Fahmi. Fami.
Sounds like something Jar Jar Binks would say.
He's a thank you, so Fami. Are you okay, Mo? Are you okay, Mo?
Because that's what he would say on a first. That's what he would say on a first date. Misa thinks you the best. You so funny.
Oh goodness. So you
Misa gotta go on a second date with you.
So you get to know get to meet the barbarians a little better. So you get to meet Idris and Famim, and you get to basically know the name of every single person in town. If you want, I can give you a rundown of every single person. But there are a lot of names here. Obviously, there are 57.
Mm-hmm.
But from what you are gathering, the town seems fairly normal. And for the entire 2 weeks that you're here, a real quick question, Daniel, are you attempting to chain yourself up every evening?
Oh yeah.
Mohit, are you attempting to chain yourself up every evening?
Yeah, fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, that's certainly one way of saying it, but I doubt it's solely for fashion.
Both of you, roll me 2 survival checks.
CX.
18.
18, okay.
Oh, wait, 2 survival checks?
Yeah, two of them, please.
11.
18 plus 7, 35.
35. On your survival?
No. 18 and 17 are my 2 survival.
Oh, no. What the individual survival checks are. Both of you have had to eat a lot during the days you are here, because every morning you wake up and you are famished after you are being restrained by the chains. But every now and again, you do find yourselves having broken free, but not being able to tightly secure the chains. And every day you have not had the chains locked, you find the same 2 things occur. You are not hungry in the morning, even though every other morning you are chained up. You are absolutely famished by the time you awaken. And you always find yourselves out back behind the wooden cabin in the woods.
I should also make it clear, by this point in time, we probably would realize, we should probably take the clothes off first before
you break them every single time.
And the other thing is, I feel like we would have opened that, we would have dug that, we would have taken a shovel and dug up back behind the cabin, because
Well, you could have. I'm working, because you sold me off as a slave.
If that's something that you want to do, absolutely.
I want to do that. What happens?
A little bit more information first, but after meeting with all of the people, and over the entire time you were here, you've never heard of anyone disappearing. Everyone's just been about their daily lives, and you've never heard about any of the livestock going missing either. You just always just see that there are a lot of sheep, for lack of a better word. There's an absolutely absorbent amount of sheep, and no one ever complains about any sheep having gone missing or that there are any problems. The town is very quaint and self-sufficient. Real quick, Mohit, how open are you about lycanthropy around the town?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
5.
5? They're just kind of passing it off here. What do you think of werewolves?
If I'm drunk, yeah.
Yeah, not a problem.
Just pretty often, so...
Whenever you mention werewolves, everyone just kind of blows it off as a fairy tale, and some people kind of just sigh and be like, ugh, and basically ask if you've been talking to Petre.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you've been talking to that lunatic. How goes that?
I don't know. I mean, he seems a little nice.
He's nice man, all
Nice
the
guy.
same.
He
But
just has a hobby. What's your hobby?
my hobby?
Unnamed person 45.
Hey, listen. My name is Ike.
Okay. IQ. U.
Ike.
ICQ. UE apostrophe I.
Ike.
EA. There you go.
Good job trying to spell that. Listen, I had to find all these names.
There's a
to come
Y
up
at
with
the
it.
end, too.
Yeah.
And a J at the beginning. That's silent. Yeah. There you go. Someone write that down.
The saddest thing is that Petre drags his family into the whole mess. Werewolves, they're nothing but a fairy tale. If we had a werewolf problems, our sheep would go missing. How would we not know that? All of us here are shepherds, and we diligently watch them every single night, and we have never had a problem. Petre is just a hysterical man. I would not get too close to him. And every time you bring it up, people either dismiss werewolves as nothing but a fairy tale, something that they tell children to scare them at night, or they kind of just complain about Petre and say that he's always on about these creatures and that he constantly is scaring newcomers away, and that's why the village hasn't really grown much, is because whenever a new person comes into town, Petre kind of goes on rambling and raving about these creatures and kind of scares them off.
What else have I learned? Let's see. I probably would have asked about, I would probably have a pretty good understanding of the social hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I know that the mayor's at the top. Like,
Yep.
Are there any right-hand men or...
Oh,
women
not particularly. There is the mayor and his wife, and you know that they have communal social gatherings almost every evening by the storehouse. And you've actually been able to go to a few. They seem to be very cordial town meetings. They're all very lively, almost always like a party, where the villagers kind of reaffirm themselves that they're doing well. Then they keep track of various goals or achievements everyone has done, and they get together to celebrate. The parties always seem to go very, very late into the night, and you always find yourself having to leave before you turn into a werewolf to really stay any further.
Do people take note of this? Or do they just think I'm an early sleep?
I mean, so you notice that a couple of other individuals leave here and there. Mostly the children. Some of the wives or fathers take their children home.
That makes sense. I am a child.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no one generally notes it. They just think you're a newcomer in town. Some people ask you where you're staying and how you're doing, how long you're staying here.
I'm staying at the inn.
Are you?
No. I'm just I was just.
Have you been telling people you've been staying at the Full Moon?
No, I'm telling people that I rented an Airbnb.
Nice.
And
yeah. Airbnb, very common
out
term.
by the woods, and they don't know what that means. And I said, get an iPhone.
You poor sods. You're still with sheep. Get some technology. Where's the Wi-Fi? What's the Wi-Fi password? What's the Wi-Fi?
And they just think I'm drunk, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so nobody knows where I live. They're always like, yo, Ashe, we really like you. We want to know where you live. You know, which is a weird thing to ask someone, but like they want to know, right? And every time I'm like, I live with your mom. No, kidding.
The classic, your mom.
Yeah. What else? What else happened? Ooh. I want to know about.
This is the time for burning questions. Get them all out of the way.
How many newcomers are there? Like, are we the only newcomers throughout the entire
Only new
2 weeks?
people for 3 years.
Bruh.
No one's left in 3 years either, by the way.
No one's left in 3 years.
No one's left in over a decade.
Who was the last person to leave?
No one remembers.
No, it's Vasquez. It's Gavi Vasquez. He's got to be.
Oh, yeah, no, Vasquez was the last person to both come and have gone.
But he died, though, right?
Mysteriously. No one knows.
Maybe
He done poofed.
he poofed into thin air.
He kind of vanished. Everyone had been seeing him very frequently, and then one day, no one saw him again.
Ask about what Vasquez might have been doing?
Everyone says that he was assisting Paval the blacksmith.
All right. Yeah, that's about it, I think.
All right, so Daniel, you've been working on your clock. You've been making pretty decent headway, and you've actually been able to either repair some of these chipped gears, either by replacing them, or some of them just needed to be cleaned because they've just accumulated some grime over the years. So you've been able to take apart and reassemble this clock multiple times, fitting in prototypes here and there of various cogs that you think might work. And you're making decent headway, except there are about 5 cogs that still elude you in both their shape and size. You don't know, you have their general location figured out, and right now you're kind of having to manually turn multiple gears. But when you do, you see that the clock is able to move some of its hands, and you're kind of getting a understanding for the inner working and structure of it. But with that, do you have any further questions? You would obviously be able to talk to Paval quite liberally, when he's not beating metal and not being able to hear anything. Oh, by the way, another thing to note, unless a specific interaction happens, for the entirety of 2 weeks, you have never seen Pavel's face or any of his skin.
Wait a minute. Who is Pavel?
The blacksmith.
Oh, okay.
You have, every time you have gotten to his place, no matter how early in the morning you get there, he's almost always there, or if he isn't, he arrives fully clothed. You've never seen the man's skin or face, always wearing a mask.
Did Daniel ever mention this to me?
You met Pavel.
Okay, can I ask
twice?
Have I asked people can I ask people during the week if they know anything about Pavel?
Oh, everyone just kind of says, Pavel wears protective gear. He's a blacksmith, doesn't want to get hurt.
Yeah, what does he look like?
Nice. Middle-aged old man. Long gray hair. Long white hair.
Okay.
Kind of straggly.
Okay.
Grizzled features.
Okay. I had a theory he was a werewolf, but okay. That doesn't make sense because he's a blacksmith. He's probably near silver a lot, so yeah.
Yeah, never seen his skin a day in your life.
I feel that Daniel would be so infatuated and interested in the clock and getting it to work that he'd just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
just
thing.
Pavel.
That's Pavel. That's what Pavel do. That's his thing.
Pavel does what Pavel does, and that's okay with me.
All right. So with that, you've been making pretty decent headway on this clock. And Mohit has pointed out a couple of times, and both of your interest has been piqued. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back, and about midway through your guys' stay here, you did find a little bit of free time cumulatively in your day, and you woke up a little bit earlier, Daniel. That way you would be able to get there before you went into Pavel's shop to help. And you borrowed a shovel from him, and per Sal's request, because both of your interests have been piqued. So both of you managed to wake up a little bit earlier in the day. With shovels in tow, you go out back behind the wooden log cabin, and you look at where these claw marks etched in the earth are, and the pit has actually gotten alarmingly deep, as you actually notice that as you've awoken each day, you have actually had to climb further and further out of the pit as it's sloping down, and at its deepest point, it's actually about 5 feet deep to where you can't even see above the ground anymore.
Gonna have to start making stairs for this. Jeez.
Can I tell Daniel this?
Both of you are out back. You've alarmed Daniel to the fact, hey, I've woken up outside this pit 2-3 times now, and every time I do, it keeps getting deeper. So both of you are kind of going around back to investigate.
Right. We gotta dig a big hole.
So right now it's kind of slanted down, and it seems like it's focused at one point. So it's just like steep-ish, but you can still kind of climb out of it as of right now.
So how about you work on digging? I'll build us a ladder so that you can get out more easily.
Yep, I'm gonna get a shovel. I'm gonna start digging.
Great. So you keep digging, and you're digging for about 3 hours. Daniel goes out to Pavel and says, yo, Pavel, I'll give you a day. Later, I've got something I need to do. You actually come back, and you're like, hey, by the way, I'm borrowing this hammer. I'm borrowing these nails. Hey. and you just kind of leave with that.
I can build a ladder with hammer and nails, but I don't entirely need it. But that would probably just be easier.
So you're able to come back with some sheets of scrap wood and finding things here and there, and wooden planks variously. And you kind of go about and roll a craft check for me.
Would I add knowledge engineering to that, or?
Sure, might as well. See how well you put this thing together.
40.
Hey! So you are able to expertly put together a ladder even with these shabby materials, and it seems to be very sturdy. And by the time you come back with everything assembled and ready, Ashe has gotten, and it is about a 6 feet deep hole at this point. And eventually you two both hear a dink.
Treasure! Eureka!
Can you tell, like, what did you hit?
Perception check.
Go for it.
16.
As you kind of dig around and clear it out a little bit further, It seems as if you hit some metal.
Can I roll a dig check?
What is a dig? Enlighten me.
Can I roll a strength check?
To do what?
So that I could pull the metal out. 3.
Of it, it seems like it's flat. Like it is sat perpendicularly with the horizontally. And it seems to be a flat sheet that goes, and you kind of dig out a really large hole now that you know where the base is that you're aiming for. And you spend basically the rest of your day, another 4 hours. And eventually you have this 6 foot deep hole with a 3 foot wide diameter. And you still just have a flat sheet down here.
Got a drill on you, Daniel?
What? No, unfortunately. I could make one, like a hand drill, back at...
Make a hand drill. Let's get under this. I have a feeling this is a mass grave. Okay.
I just think the last guy, Dr. Vasquez, who had this place, was a bit of a nut, much like me.
A nut. This is going to be hard to crack just like a nut. You know what would make it easier? A drill. Get making that drill.
Well, we could take a metal rod and essentially cut 2 edges into it, much like a current drill bit. But in order to overcome that, I guess using a gear system of some kind would definitely help.
All right, great. So go ahead, roll a craft for me one more time. Add your 22 to that.
So that would be a 38.
And it takes you about 2 or 3 days to get to this drill.
The drill bit itself would probably come up to about my waist. So probably about like 3 to 3.5 feet tall for the bit itself. And then the gear system and the hand crank would probably add another 1.5 feet. So it's probably about 4.5 feet tall.
Jeez, that's a big drill.
It's a big drill.
That's a real big drill.
Gonna drop it onto Sao, who has the strength modifier of 0. I can't see this going wrong.
After having dug this hole out back, and you don't know why, but each time you are seemingly drawn to it, and you begin to start drilling.
I have a very strange question for you.
Sure.
Is there a meat processing plant here?
Yes.
Can I go there?
Well, what do you mean by processing?
Do they butcher sheep?
Yes. There's a slaughterhouse.
Excellent. I'm going to go to the slaughterhouse and say, do you have any spare fat?
There's a very large man at the counter.
And he from
comes in and he pats his stomach. Yes, I am fat right here. If you would like to take like 30, 40 pounds, my wife would love you.
1, I'm so glad that went way better than I expected. 2, as much as I'd love to, sir, I think that would be really painful.
If you need, we do not need all the excess of animal fat. Sometimes we use it for, as the fats and oils can be used for fuel for lanterns. But edgewise here, we have a few, about a pound or 2.
Excellent. I will happily take some of that.
And he gives it to you as you are on your way.
Wonderful.
What are you planning to do with animal fat?
So, drill bits perform better if you lubricate them when drilling metal. So I'm going to give this thing the best chance of working by lubricating it with the closest thing I have to a drill oil.
So you get your Fiat, and you lube up this thick steely rod, and you just drill it in as hard as you can.
Rated E, 10 it up.
And you're attempting to drill through this metal, and you're finding a large amount of friction and resistance, and you astonishingly are going through this metal, and you realize that it is layered with multiple sheets.
Multiple sheets of layers.
And you have been drilling for about a day, and you are about 5 inches deep into 3 or 4 different sheets of metal.
Well, this is actually working slightly better than I expected, but Dr. Vasquez is kind of a brood.
What if we made it hot because it's malleable that way?
I mean, do you know Fireball?
Not anymore.
Do you know anything that could heat metal up?
Mage Hand.
Who's Mage Hand gonna heat metal? So while Daniel is hard at work drilling into multiple different sheets of metal, you just see Sal standing up top above the pit, constantly swatting at the air, going, "Hiya! Hua! And you hear, as it sounds like there's some like dinks and thuds on the metal above you, as this man is repeatedly mage handing, because it's a cantrip. So he's doing this all day, assisting you in the only way he knows how. As you've been working on this pit for honestly a couple of days now, each evening as you go into the house, you still notice the same problem, of which the latch on the front door keeps coming undone, and there seems to be a draft pulling into the house.
Do we have enough time before we switch into werewolves to check for where that draft is coming from?
You could have found it earlier in the day. It could have been bothering you. You could have spent any number of time. You could have woken up early one morning before you headed out in order to investigate this, because it's always the same consistent draft that seems to be pulling in towards the house.
I am going to wake up early and check to see where this draft is coming from.
So you go and you notice that, like I said, it's a very flimsy latch on the front door, and just the slightest amount of air current is pulling in, and it goes straight through the living room and back towards the kitchen. And roll a perception check for me.
19.
So you notice that while there are some windows in the kitchen, all of them are firmly sealed, firmly closed, and you don't feel any air escaping through them. But there seems to be a faint current leading back into the pantry, which is situated underneath the staircase that leads upstairs.
Well, I guess I'm going to explore the pantry a bit closer and see if I can feel where that draft be going.
Yep, go for it. Perception further? Yeah.
27.
22.
You're both able to feel that it's about a 3-foot deep pantry with 2 shelves on either side on the left and your right, and one directly back. And you notice that the one pantry directly back underneath this, that would be underneath facing towards where the staircase is effectively if you were to walk straight through, there seems to be a slight draft there.
Hey, Ashe, can you help me move this shelf and see what's behind it? Because I think this is where this draft is coming from.
Yes, I'm going to use assist another on a strength check.
Cool. So are you guys trying to pull it straight out?
Yeah.
Cool.
11.
I rolled a 17 and 2.
Are both trying to pull it out, and it keeps feeling like it's getting jammed or stuck on something underneath of it.
What if we pushed it?
Yeah, let's push it. I'm going to assist another on a strength check.
All right.
So 16 total.
Both of you push back towards the shelf, and it glides effortlessly.
Hey!
As if on some smooth track, and it goes about an inch back, and then you hear as something clicks. And then it starts to move somewhat back towards you, about a half inch where you saw it stop before, and then it goes down. And the shelf is slowly now descending.
Ooh. Food elevator.
Ooh, I like these kinds of, I like these episodes of Scooby-Doo.
And now you see under the staircase, there's another staircase.
Okay. I'm going to use my dexterity check to sprint through this staircase.
All right, beaming straight down.
Get it over with. Get it over with.
Tear it off like a Band-Aid.
Okay. 17.
Great, you
I'm
run
sprinting.
straight down.
Sprinting.
This is a solid stone staircase, and you see solid stone walls everywhere, and you beam straight down. It goes about down 10 feet.
Also, is it dark?
It's a little dark down here, yeah.
I am going to grab one of the other jars of preserve or whatever that's on the shelf, cast light on it, and walk down the stairs.
And you notice that you're going down about 15 to 20 feet. And then eventually you reach a dead end of a stone wall. And to your left facing, which orientationally you can presume is outside towards the back of Vasquez's cabin, there is a metal door.
Metal door.
Metal door. Does it? Can I roll perception on it?
Sure.
I'm going to do that too.
16 total.
Okay, that's better. 24.
You're able to see that before you is a metal door with the top half being grated. There's about 3 bars. It's about a 2-foot wide, foot tall gap, included off by bars. And there seems to be a latch, but it is currently locked off by a padlock, which is preventing it from being lifted.
How thick are those bars?
The bars are about an inch thick.
Oh.
Yeah.
So does it? And it's silver, right?
Is it?
Presumably.
What a presumption.
Okay, Daniel, I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. It's a silver door. We can't touch it. So what we gotta do?
How do you react to Sal saying there's an entire door made out of silver before you?
Do I notice? Can I see what kind of metal it is?
It has a reflective sheen about it, but it also seems to be a very thick metal door, which would be pounds and pounds and square feet of silver.
I'm sure Vasquez was rich, but I don't think he was quite baller enough to own a complete silver door.
Oh yeah? Then touch it. Touch the door. See what happens.
Why don't you touch the door since you're so confident?
No, the point I'm trying to make is that it's going to burn us if I touch it.
Okay, so we just don't touch it with our skin.
Here's what we got to do. Take your sleeves, okay? Just like, take your sleeves, kind of put your hands under, like, inside your sleeves, like a little hermit. And then you're going to try to open the door that way. And that's what I'm going to do. I'll try to open the door that way with my sleeve.
So there's a blocked latch, and the latch cannot be lifted due to the fact that there's a locked padlock currently on it.
Locked padlock? What kind of security are we talking about here?
Talking about one that there's a lock, and it requires a key.
Requires a key?
Requires a key.
Alrighty, okay. Perception check. Is there a key anywhere nearby? Okay, I'm going to use my +4 dexterity and sprint all the way up, get that key, and then go all the way back down.
So Sal's kind of beaming up and running all around through the house to see if he can find anything. Daniel, roll a quick perception check for me.
19.
So kind of standing down here, waiting for Sal, your interest is piqued, and you go and you actually look through the grate of the metal bars, and you see before you a almost perfectly squared or 10-foot by 10-foot room. And in it, you see a skeleton of a man, and it seems as if there is a key dangling on a string around his neck.
Oh, for Pete freaking sake. Why did you...
Okay, how strong of a padlock are we talking about here?
It's a pretty strong padlock, yeah.
Could we, like, smash it with a hammer?
Probably. You could definitely try that.
Can I guild message Daniel and say that can we smash it with?
You could walk down a flight of stairs and talk face to face with the man, but yes, you can.
I get the key. I get the key.
There's no key.
There's no key.
How are you going to get the key?
There was no key.
You walk downstairs and you look at Daniel, and Daniel says, "Get it," and he points in towards the grate, and you see in there that there is a key attached to a string around a dead corpse's neck.
Okay, Daniel, you got any way you could break open this padlock?
Well, if we had Zana with us, she might have been able to break it by picking it, but we don't have Zana with us, so that's not really an option. We could also try sawing through the lock itself, or effectively rendering it useless, but with the files I have, that would take a really long time.
Wait, we have a drill, right?
The drill diameter is probably a bit too big, but yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, let's drill through this padlock.
Daniel described this drill as a 4-foot tall behemoth monster, and you want to ever so gently balance this on top of the padlock?
What other chance do we have? As the Avengers would say, whatever it takes.
I'm sorry, I'm having an aneurysm out of sheer stupidity.
We're doing this, okay? Whether
you're
like
doing this was your idea, not mine.
We're gonna do this, and I'm gonna tweet out later this week. I'm not gonna tell you. I want you to take a look at our social media later this week, and I want you to read the tweet and realize the easiest solution possible and feel dumb. So, you lug this giant piece of 4-foot tall handmade drill metal down this stairs. And you're having one person kind of balance it and shimmy it on this lock, and the other person is a hand turning the crank. Both of you please roll strength to see if you can keep this up and lifted in order to drill on
16.
this padlock. And who's doing which job? One person needs to balance both the drill and the lock, and the other person actually has to turn and crank it.
So I would balance. I would drill.
Okay.
Yeah.
I rolled a 6 for strength.
Ashe is actually able to keep the padlock relatively balanced and the drill on top of it, but after a while is getting rather fatigued, as it seems as if Daniel is not making too much headway. And part of you is just wondering whether you should have bashed it with a hammer.
So
We didn't have a hammer.
So Ashe, do you want me to go to the blacksmith and ask him for his sledgehammer?
okay.
Or a sledgehammer?
Okay, how about this? You go. Yeah, you get your hammer, and I'll put this drill away.
Have fun lifting it, but okay. So I'm going to go to the blacksmith,
Sure.
borrow one of his spare sledgehammers,
Great.
and come back here to bash the lock.
All right, go for it. Roll strength for me. You come down wielding this hammer. It's hard to get a good arc because it's the kind of the confined quarters, but you
Yeah.
still manage to get a pretty decent heft, and you strike this lock with your hammer.
I rolled a 15 with my strength modifier. That makes 17.
You put a decent dent in it, but surprisingly, the lock doesn't break underneath the heft of a rather large sledgehammer comparatively to the size of the dainty lock.
Do it again.
Do it again. Roll.
Nat crit.
There you go. You go through. So you actually go through, and with a second mighty heave and swing, you hit it right on the joint where you chipped it with the drill. And due to the fact that it was fractured there, you were actually able to kind of splice it. The padlock bar kind of cracked horizontally through, splicing the metal, and the lock shatters, and the door kind of creaks open.
Well, that worked better than expected.
All
Okay, we should probably go inside and hope that the skeleton doesn't revive itself and try to kill us.
Yep.
So, who wants to go first?
You go first. You go first. I'm gonna
Okay.
take a defensive stance.
Take a defensive stance. What an action.
Yeah, so take a defensive stance and follow behind.
All right. As Daniel's going in with his well-lit jar of preservatives, I love my canned peaches lighting my way through dungeons. You make your way into the small 10 by 10 foot room, and you see that it is relatively vacant, except a few notable things. As Daniel has pieced together, this was clearly the house of Dr. Vasquez, and about him he has multiple workbenches with a series of various tools. But most interestingly enough, you see before you is the skeleton of an individual currently chained to the ground.
And we inspect. Okay, we're gonna inspect the key.
I'm going to roll for... Can I roll for perception on the body to see if I notice anything special about it, other than it seems to be a human skeleton of some kind?
Sure.
27.
Would it be possible to roll a knowledge local check on things around this room that I would recognize?
Sure.
Okay. Wait. It says 2, but we're adding 23 to that, so it's 25.
Both of you are able to perceive that there is a human skeleton currently chained to the ground, and he is restrained on all 4 limbs. He has cuffs around his wrists and also his ankles, and they are drilled and bolted, these chains, directly into the stone floor. The room around is actually also lined with more sheen metallic substances, and there are a number of various benches and work tables. Most interestingly enough, though, Daniel, you do find a large number of tools and parts and of various shapes and sizes, all kinds of... you do find some very intricate drills and screws and hand implements, but you also find a number of various sized gears as well. But some of them seem particularly sized and gold to fit the clock that you are working on over at Pavel's house.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure this is Dr. Vasquez's workplace, but what we don't know is if that's Dr. Vasquez or somebody else.
The most interesting and striking thing to you, Ashe, as you have been talking and conversing with Petre, even though everyone has called him nothing but a loon and an insane individual, you see that there are a number of deep etched claw marks deep into the stone floor and around the room, all within arm's reach, of this humanoid skeleton.
Daniel,
Yeah?
I don't think this is Dr. Vasquez. I mean, it could be Dr. Vasquez, but I don't think this is just an ordinary human.
Well, yeah, that was kind of a given.
I think it's a werewolf.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty big news. Okay, I'll shut up.
I mean, we're both werewolves. I'm not really that surprised by much of anything anymore. I'm kind of just surprised out for the time being.
Okay. So what do we want to find here, Daniel?
Well, see if there's any notes of any kind and such of that that could tell us perhaps what went on here, because it's not very often that you find a person chained to a wall and massive claw marks in the wall.
Yeah, perception check for a diary.
I will also perception check for some form of notes and or diary and or book.
So you all are able to go through, and there are actually a good number of drawers attached to these workbenches, and you are able to find scraps of loose drawings and sketches, schematics of sorts, for various tools and instruments, a number of constructs as well, as Dr. Vasquez was noted for making. And yet, even though you had known Dr. Vasquez to be a very well-documented individual, you haven't found a diary or anything of the sort around in this room.
Well, no diary, but I am totally taking all of those tools and other schematics. Those are mine now.
You were able to, however, after reading and parsing through all of these, a lot of his writings that are left on some of his schematics, he does make brief descriptions and everything, and he makes constant notes to remember to write in a diary.
So Ashe, do you see these things? Like, are these notes on your on the pictures you're finding too, like the note in the diary?
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of diary around here. If not that, then in the house.
Okay, well,
but maybe we could find out, okay, so my guess is Dr. Vasquez was a werewolf, all right? And then he chained himself, to keep himself down here, and then he just died, I guess. But yeah, we got to find a diary. I don't know where we could find that. You got any ideas?
I mean, we could sweep the house.
Okay.
And make sure that it's not here. But the other logical place it could have been was in Yenamut. And I don't really think they'd be particularly thrilled about seeing us again.
Oh, right. That place. Okay.
Yeah, that place that you turned into a werewolf and turned me into a werewolf.
Yeah, good times. Okay.
Not good times, but we'll go with good times.
Okay, do we want to go there? I don't know.
The Yenamut? Do you want to?
Okay, you know what? Let's sweep the house. Let's
not go on a suicide mission.
Okay, we're going to sweep the house.
So with this, you guys have managed to pass your time, and the days seem to go by rather quickly, with Ashe going about the town, gathering numerous amounts of information, and Daniel helping out Paval, the blacksmith. You were able to notice that, Daniel, some of the gears you found down in Vasquez's shop perfectly fit into the clock, and yet there is still what seems to be a centerpiece missing. Something that, without it, the clock itself will not move.
Oh, so it's like some sort of main gear.
Per the direction of all of the gears facing, it seems that no individual one piece should be able to turn everything. So with all of your understanding of engineering, you think it honestly couldn't be mechanical, but perhaps some sort of magical implement that is missing to turn the clock.
Oh. If it's the key. Probably not, but...
Try the key. Do it.
What's the worst that could happen? Famous last words.
So with this, you two, 2 weeks go by, and you find yourselves living day in, day out, and you have finally paid your debt, if you would, to Paval, and yet you have come hardly any closer to understanding why you're here. But I will also say this. Whenever you find yourselves transforming into werewolves, you actually still find yourself either digging above towards the bunker where you found the skeleton, or if the room is left open, finding yourself in the room laying at the center of it.
That clock has to do with it, doesn't it? Interesting. Okay.
Snow, I bet you are wondering why I've gathered you here today.
Yeah. Why am I out of bed right now?
You are out of bed because we need to know what happens after and before.
After and before what?
Yep. So you wake up in Castle Remedolf today.
I keep speaking to that weird ghost.
Ghost?
Yeah.
What ghost?
The ghost that keeps talking to me in my head, telling me that I'm doing something for some reason in the game.
Yeah, pretty much. So you wake up today in Castle Remedolf. It seems like it's kind of cloudy out right now, as if it might be raining.
Why is this guy crying?
And you just hear a faint sobbing outside your bedroom door.
Why is this guy crying indoors?
Maybe because it feels my feelings.
Snow goes to the door and opens it.
There, buddy. You'll be fine. You'll move on. And
Whoa, guys, what's going on?
Lana left.
She died?
No.
Oh.
She just up and abandoned us.
Snow pauses for a really long time.
Did you get a letter?
I look at Wilson first.
Yeah, Snow. Check your little CD benchy thingy in front of your bed.
She turns back, goes to the little CD benchy thing in front of my bed, which would be the chest at the end of the bed. That's what that's called. Specifically, the chest at the end of the bed.
So resting on top of your chest is a envelope, seemingly. Your chest at the end of the bed, not your actual chest.
Oh, that would have been a miracle in general.
There seems to be a letter on top of a small little box.
Oh, I pick it up and I open up the letter. I look it over. Why are there so many words on this?
You got words?
What did you get? Oh, okay. I'm sorry I asked. Wilson, what's going on?
No, don't bring it up. But just sometimes it's better to forget. And you look at Wilson and you see he has really large bags under his eyes. It looks like he didn't sleep at all last night. He's just sitting there next to Clyde with his arm around his shoulder, kind of just like patting him. You see that there's like multiple goblets at their feet.
Were you guys drinking all night?
Oh, I mean, he had like juice mostly.
Oh.
It reminds me of a simpler time. Like preschool, where you just got graham crackers and your heart not stabbed repeatedly.
Oh. You know, Clyde, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, bud, we've got graham crackers. Wilson just hands him some graham crackers. He's just gnawing on them like a squirrel.
Wilson, where? Have you prepared this for yourself?
What? I mean, how else are you supposed to make s'mores?
Wait, you've had a kit for making s'mores? I mean, I know this is not important right now. I'm just... You know what? You know, maybe you guys should go camping.
I mean, she's got a great point, Clyde. Whenever I was sad, me and the old man, we used to always go out into the woods and rough it. I'm not going camping. Right, hear me out then. Hear me out. Listen, we don't go camping. It's just two guys going out into the woods, surviving on nothing but the environment around them with a tent. That sounds an awful lot like camping.
Nope, that's not camping. That's just two guys going out in the woods.
It's not camping. We don't have a camper. It's not camping.
Yep, no. Semantics. Those words are important.
Yep, it's tenting. We're going to pitch a tent, Clyde.
Snow pauses for a moment, thinking about all the times that joke was made with Clyde, and she pauses and shakes her head.
I thought he used to say we'd pitch a tent, then we made pillow forts. Then we don't use a tent. We burn the tent, we throw it in a fire while we make s'mores.
Is that all? Yeah, I guess that's all you could do.
We could light the tent on fire or make s'mores out of the tent. It's like burning, just burn it, leave it.
The more he talks about the fact that they'd be going to do s'mores without her, it's making her jealous.
Well, I mean, Snow, you can come too.
I mean, I could, but I think this would be, you need bro time. Bro time, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, Clyde, it'll be really important to just get away from the
women.
members of the opposite sex for a little. You just need to just hone in and find yourself. Really discover who you are out while discovering nature.
Maybe Indolon's had a point.
This team really did loosen up all my congestion, and I've been having a lot of really bad runny noses right now. This might be helpful.
I'm sorry, I don't have any tissues.
It's okay, I've been using Wilson's cape.
Oh, lovely.
It's now a very different shade of green.
Lovely, Wilson. You should probably never wear that again. Ever.
I planned on burning it with the tent.
Good plan. Good plan, Wilson. I guess what I'll do is, maybe I'll go out and try and see if I can find our other compatriots, you know.
Well, we're not going to be finding anything before we find breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day, Snow.
Oh, yeah. Breakfast. I had so much bread last night.
Sana really used to like breakfast.
Don't think about anything that's related to her.
Yeah, it's she who must not be named will not be named nor mentioned. But Sana, no, she who must not be named.
She who must not be named.
It's
really
forbidden. You can't even bring up that. Okay, no, I'm sorry. It's better if you talk about it. Although I can see, Wilson, that you've been dealing with this for a while.
Hours, Snow.
Why?
Snow,
Here, come with me. Why don't you and I, you can tell me how you're feeling.
Okay,
Snow passes a thumbs up to Wilson. I got this.
I want a cup of coffee right now. I'm just going to go downstairs to try and recoup. Maybe find a nice fruit bowl, you know? Those are very nourishing.
I wonder if they have Turkish coffee.
They might. We'll find out. All right, so you three are making your way down the stairs from where your rooms currently are, and you venture into the main throne room before you end up going into the dining hall, which are interconnected to one another. And right as you do, you hear a giant crack of thunder, and the front doors swing wide open. But with the blistering light that is gleaming through, you see nothing but a silhouette of what seems to be a massive, giant, two-headed creature.
That's mildly horrifying.
Oh, Snow, do we kill it?
Grog?
Hi, guys! It's been so long!
And you see as one of the heads off the silhouette jumps off, and as the lightning fades and the room lighting goes back to normal, you see Crystal jump on the ground and run towards you guys.
Snow takes her arm off of Clyde that she was using to pat his back and greets Crystal with a hug.
Crystal runs and jumps and says, "Sneak attack!" and jumps in for a hug. Meanwhile, Grog is now bull rushing down the center aisle, screaming, "Sneak attack!" And he goes in for a giant hug and almost tackles you, but stops right as he does and kind of grabs all three of you and lifts you all off the ground.
Snow just says, "This is not what you would call sneak attack."
I'm so immensely stealthy, Snow. Look at how successful it is. I got 3 people in one go.
Technically 4. Crystal's crushed between us all.
Oxygen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me down.
There we go. Down we go.
So what brings you guys here? I'm so glad to see you. Did you happen to find
We were out in the woods, hunting actual cannibals.
Shia LaBeouf?
No, but he did have a knife. But luckily we knew jujitsu, so we were able to fight our way off before we got our legs caught in bear traps, which were not for bears, we found out, but werewolves. That's right. I still lost my left toe.
Wait, hold on.
Or so he thought, because it was a dream. But then we actually went out into the woods. And we did indeed track werewolves, and we found out where they may be hiding.
Yep, this is my odd guild. This is my group. I love you guys so much. So, you're saying that werewolves, maybe those 2 might be there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know of many other werewolves. There's a lot of spoopy things going on. From exploring a little bit further in Yenamut, where we last found them, we found out that there's like ghosts, zombies, fish creatures that kidnap you and drown you in your sleep.
Legit? Why didn't we stay in Yenamut? And I just look at everybody.
One of us was taken to jail and then almost tried and executed.
That was rhetorical, Wilson.
Because she had to save Sana before she abandoned us and stabbed us all in the heart.
She who shall not be named.
What is all this about all this going on? We'll fill you in later. We should probably focus on finding the people who want to be found first.
Snow tries to signal, like, spell out the word Zana in the air.
Oh no, something happened to Samantha? God,
you can't even spell regularly. Why are you trying to read air signs? Well, I just thought it was pretty close. I saw that little squiggly thing that looked like a snake, and I'm just like, ooh, snakes and Samantha sound very similar.
That's actually really close, but we'll talk about it later. That was more of a hint. All right, so...
I do love charades. Maybe we can do it while we're on the way.
Well, they're going to be going off and... I look at Wilson. Camping?
No,
Tenting?
we're in the woods burning tents.
Bro time.
We're brunting.
Got it. So they're going to be out brunting.
What a name! Oh my gosh, what a name. How do you... Okay, you two brunt each other real good, okay?
Snow starts laughing. It sounds so bad.
Don't worry, I brunt myself from time to time.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get some breakfast and maybe try and figure out where we're gonna go. We're probably gonna camp right on the outskirts of the Queen's Forest if you need us, though.
Okay.
We're brunt. We're gonna brunt outside.
Yes, brunt.
We're very bruntingly, very brisk brunt in the mornings. Right outside the edge of the Queen's Forest.
Wilson, you don't have to make it an alliteration.
We kind of work though.
He was kind of cute, but don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways, so there's a small town outside, kind of, directionally from here. It's our left from where we're standing, but technically it's on the east coast of the continent. And we heard that there have been some werewolf sightings.
All right. Do you know how far that town is from here?
It would be about 2 or 3 days.
All right, then. I guess that's what we're going to have to do. Are you guys hungry?
I ate a sheep on the way here.
Oh. I haven't eaten. I'm going to get some food and stock up on...
We should probably stack up on supplies. We've kind of been hunting the things we found running around the wilderness for the past couple of days. We have had a lot of squirrels. Their tails can be made into jerky.
I don't know how to take that, but I will. And so I'm going to go see what I'm going to go let the queen know that we're going to head out.
And Grog kind of just barrels into the room where everyone's walking and talking about sustenance and just starts gorging himself. And you see various members of the Queen's Guard kind of loitering about, dawdling and going about their ways.
All right. So after this, guys, we'll gather our supplies and we'll head out. Good luck, Wilson.
I'm going to need it.
Message me if you need me.
Likewise, Snow.
Okay.
We'll stay in touch,
All right. Long distance.
Yeah. You can make it work. Strong bond, 2 of us.
So, besides all of this awkward tension that's in the room, Grog found a bowl of soup and is drinking it. It's kind of chunky. I think it's got some little meaty bits in it. I think that's a carrot. But other than that, I've not eaten as well in like days.
Where are we going with this?
Hopefully this new town to the east, southeast from here. It's called Lunca.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, we should probably pack up and leave right away. Once this storm blows over, we should probably roll out.
Oh, yeah, that is true. There is a storm out there.
When we could leave in the cover of darkness and night. We'll never be able to find us.
No, we should probably leave in the morning.
But then we should probably leave now, even though it's raining.
Better late than never, but also better now than when we could get killed. So let's head out as soon as we can. Grab a bunch of food, he says as he outstretches his arm and just leans into the table and picks up 15 dishes all at the same time and just starts walking up with them and make our way out the door.
Oh, okay. Snow really quickly would go... Was there a shop at the castle?
Not a shop, but the queen did say if there was ever anything you need to just ask.
Okay, so I go up to Dorian.
You are able to, after a couple of minutes, it takes you 10 minutes to find him loitering. He's going about his daily business as the queen's vizier. He's going about his daily routine and making sure that everything in the castle is in order. And you do find him eventually out by the stables.
Dorian.
Oh, well, yes, Snow. It's wonderful to see you. I hope you rested well.
Is it storming? The stables are outside in the storm, right?
The stables is a covered building.
I know, but do I have to walk through?
They are connected to the castle.
Okay, so I'll go through. Lovely weather we're having today. Isn't it great? Okay. We're going to be heading out soon.
Oh, so quickly. What is such an urgent matter?
We have to go find some of our party members that went missing when we were in Yenamut.
By all means. Is there anything I can do to assist you?
Just some rations for the travel time that it would take to get there.
Sure, absolutely. We can supply you with a good couple weeks' rations. I know some of the wilderness out there can be treacherous, but you've proven yourself in battle to be quite a mighty foe yourself, so I'm sure you will all be fine.
She smiles. Thank you, Dorian. I really do appreciate it. We will probably be heading out, I believe, today.
That's fine. I can have some of the Queen's Guard rush and equip your barding with everything you need for a good few weeks' journey. And if you would like, I can even send a messenger crow with you.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be great.
We will have some sort of messenger fly above head. That way, if you ever need us, and he hands you a small whistle, just blow this whistle, and we will be able to get anything you need.
She puts it in her inventory.
Likewise, though, if you are unable to do so, it will come back and collect us if it deems that you are in grave danger.
Thank you so much, Dorian. I'm going to miss you, but we'll be back, I promise.
Well, I sure hope so. There's still plenty to be done here. We haven't even got you situated in your new houses.
Yes. Well, she extends her arms.
Oh, he comes in for a hug.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so she gives him a very good hug, and she backs off. Did you see if Ara and Gallahan had headed off today?
Yes, they left at the crack of dawn, and actually, two of your other compatriots left going in opposite directions the evening before as well.
Oh, that must have been Zana and Ugwin as well. I mean, that makes sense. I hope they're going to be okay. I'll have to check in with them later. Thank you so much for the information, Dorian.
My pleasure, Duchess.
If you wouldn't mind, give my regards to the Queen.
Of course. Gladly. And with that, you all group up. Your rations and everything you need readily supplied by the Queen's Guard. You're actually able to get everything attached onto your barding before noonday, and you're set off to where Crystal and Grog inform you to be the last place that a werewolf was sighted. And that will be the town of Lunca. So with that, everyone, I think that's actually going to cut it off for this week's section of Sword Art Online Odd. Glad you all could join us for Season 3, Episode 2. Special thank you to Mo and Daniel. Glad you guys are able to join us again for the brief little bit. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. But with that, I do believe we're going to wrap it up. So thank you, everybody, for staying tuned. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this week's episode of Sword Art Online Odd. If you really enjoyed it, then please do subscribe anywhere where you're finding your podcasts, or you could also leave us a review on iTunes if you really wanted. If you wanted to share us with anyone, we are on most platforms such as YouTube, Spotify, or you can find us on our website at missingroleplayerfound.com. You can also support us at our Patreon if you really wanted to go the extra mile. It would mean a lot to all of us, and it's what keeps us going and able to make new content for all of you. You can find us at bit.ly/support MRPF, and there are multiple different tiers that we have there with a bunch of different goodies that you can find out there. But other than that, please do stay engaged with us on our social media. You can find us on our Discord regularly where we're all in the chat, or you can tune in on Twitter or Instagram at RollFound. All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.